Good Tuesday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Jacob Wyckoff. It's so hot, I'm melting. My brain is melting. We are joining you, joined by Terry Ellison. It is a hot day out there. We talked about this being the peak, and it's now 11:30. It's already sweltering outside.
It's already 91 degrees.
Yeah.
We've already hit 90 for the 15th time this summer. And I believe that today will probably be the second hottest day of the summer, only second to that 102-degree day. So.
It's hard to compete against that, the hottest day in June history. But it is sweltering outside.
Yep.
We have a next weather alert in effect. In fact, feels like temperatures between 95 and 102. It feels like a broken record.
I was going to say, I feel like, well, we did say this yesterday, and then it was late last week, and then it was the week before. It's just been one of those summers. And again, we are already at the average for 90-degree days, total 90-degree days for the summer in Boston, and it's not August yet.
So, it's not August.
So if you're a lover of heat and humidity, then this summer is certainly for you. You know. So let's take a look at our alert. As you said, feels like 95 to 102. We'll talk about in a second. It's not going to be a heat wave in Boston.
Correct.
Because of that pesky little sea breeze yesterday. Boston is such a weird place. Yeah. Well, no, let me rephrase that. The sensor.
We've send him the messages, not me.
The actual, and we've said this before on this podcast, but with the sensor is right at Logan Airport, and so if there's any sort of whiff of an onshore breeze, Boston just is going to be cooler than the rest of the area.
And we talked about it yesterday too, that sometimes in the afternoon that sea breeze will die down and quickly pop to 92 or something like that. That didn't happen.
It did not happen yesterday. But most of the region north of the Pike and north and west of Boston was certainly 90 plus yesterday, and again today. And this heat advisory from the National Weather Service is up through tomorrow.
Yeah, and they had extended this too to areas including the South Coast, Bristol and Plymouth County, because the dew points will make up for any sort of lack of temperature there. So everyone's playing the same ball game here, whether it's air temperature that's going to be hot, feels like temperature that's going to be hot. We're all going to be miserable, and we also have the wildfire smoke to contend with. Now, it's not to the same intensity as perhaps over the weekend, but we still have that haze on the horizon. As you drive in, let's say on the Mass Pike, you kind of notice right on that horizon some film, some smokiness there. Yeah, so,
I mean, you could have just mistaken it for a hazy day today because you have a hot, humid day, and it's usually hazy anyhow, but there's a little bit of an extra haze, and you combine them both, and air quality is actually in the moderate range right now, which, you know, for us, we don't have, most days, we don't have a lot of bad air quality days, and this technically isn't a bad air quality day, but it is at least on the scale as moderate. So if you're, I don't think we have to tell you if you're outside to, you need to drink fluid and all that. Like it's hot enough anyways, but just an extra added sort of reminder that air quality isn't the best today.
Correct. Yeah. If you have those breathing related issues, today's the day to watch. Right now, we're sitting at 91 in a lot of spots, from Fitchburg to Bedford to Boston to Norwood to Plymouth, even upper 80s for Hyannis.
Yeah, look
Lawrence
at that.
sitting at 90. And then it's just miserable when you factor in the humidity values to be able to get those sort of temperatures even towards the mid-Cape. This
could be one of those days where somewhere in the Cape nicks 90 again. We had that happen in June. So yeah, and again, Boston at 91, and this was as of 11 a.m. So my guess is when you go on at noon, it'll probably be 93, perhaps, something like that, which lends us plenty of the heating. The highest temperature of the day usually occurs around 3 or 4 p.m., so plenty of room to get into the upper 90s today.
So just real quick, we have access kind of behind the scenes of the 5-minute observations, and some of the 5-minute observations for Boston have us at
still 91.
At 91 still, yeah. So hopefully, the one thing we also watch is the dew point, and we'll watch that dew point if we're able to see it kind of creep down a little bit. That's going to allow us to rise into the upper 90s, mid-90s for Bedford and Worcester, even Hyannis, P-Town, nicking that 90-degree mark.
Yeah, so look at all those 90s. I don't think we'll see many hundreds today. I wouldn't rule it out, and a town or two. But this is not, the heat isn't, we aren't quite there where we were back in June on that 100-degree day. So
that was just such a remarkable day.
It was, I mean, that's why we just don't have that many 100-degree days here.
But even though it's not going to be 100, it's still record-breaking territory.
It's warm enough, So the current forecast that we have is 98. 1 degree higher than the record, and that record set all the way back in 1933. That's like the dust.
Do the math quick.
That was like the,
long ago?
Shoot. 92, 3,
92 years ago?
something like that. Back in the Dust Bowl era, it's interesting. A lot of highs in the 1930s just because it was so dry for such a spell there. But most of the time when you see a record high now, they're all from the last 20 years.
Right.
It seems that way anyways.
Look at Worcester, 1892 as well. Now, Worcester's a little bit harder to get with this current setup, I feel like. But, you know, 95.
Yeah, I actually don't think we'll hit 95 today. I'm not sure who put that on there. Because, again, Worcester is 1,000 feet high.
Yeah.
It has trouble, much like Logan sometimes, because it's in a weird location.
Yeah, so that 1892 was a different location. That was downtown Worcester at that time.
Yeah. So not going to rule it out. Not probably Jason's forecast from this morning, and maybe he's right, but I'd say Worcester's probably going to end up 92, 93, somewhere in there. But either way,
it's in the neighborhood. It's in
Exactly.
the ballpark. And so when we look at the hottest days of the year, we talked about that June 24th day, the hottest June day on record for Boston. And then we had a couple of 95s. We had one a couple of days ago.
Yep.
This very easily could be the second hottest day in Boston the entire year.
Yeah, I think without a doubt we're headed for that. And this is pretty remarkable. I mean, all of these days happen in this summer, in the last like 30 days or so.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have summers where we don't hit 94, 95 at all. We'll get some the low 90s, but when we've been hot this year, we've been really hot.
Yeah.
At least one day out of every sort of hot stretch has been, significantly warm, mid 90s, upper 90s, or 100.
It usually starts slow, maybe like a 90, and then it peaks to like a 97.
Right. It feels like the pattern is unmistakable.
Yeah.
We're doing it again. And again, today is the 15th day already. Again, with still a couple days left in July, 15th 90-degree day in Boston. Well past the last couple of years already. So.
And above average. We average 14 90-degree days for the season. Any years stick out to you when you look at these?
I mean, the thing that sticks out to me is 2023 because that summer was one of the most disgustingly humid summer. Like you would not, after that summer was over, you would certainly not have thought of it as a cool summer. It wasn't. It was above average summer. It was so humid, but it was just the lack of 90-degree days is kind of strange. But it was just almost too humid.
It was consistently hot, and it was consistently rainy too. It was one of the wettest summers on record. Usually those don't go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So yeah, that definitely sticks out to me. It was one of the hottest summers on record for us, but it wasn't like extremely hot.
Right.
It was just on average hot.
I would say, what do you give the odds of us hitting 20 90-degree days?
I think it's pretty good.
3 out of 4.
Yeah, we're going to add another one tomorrow, so we're at 16, and our average for the month of August is 4 days. So even if we have a average August.
And we can still get 1 or 2 in September. So chances are, we'll certainly be 20 plus.
So we talked about tomorrow, mid-90s. Yet again, feels like temperatures, triple digits. Anything stick out tomorrow that...
Well, actually, I just was looking at some of the latest model data, and a lot of them have us ticking a few degrees higher.
Yep.
We've been thinking all along that today, Tuesday, would be the hottest day. I wouldn't be shocked if we had some readings, if the clouds stay away long enough, and I think some of the new models suggest they will, that we might have some upper 90s again tomorrow. So,
and that has been a bit of a trend, right? Where Wednesday was going to be the cooler day, and each and every day it starts to creep up a little bit more. And as we get closer to the day, we have more accuracy to that. So yeah, I saw the same thing.
Yeah, and you'll see in a second that the thunderstorm activity and the clouds are kind of waning for tomorrow. So the more sunshine we get, the warmer we'll get. So obviously Boston's not going to hit a heat wave because of yesterday. But what I threw up is I just chose a random sort of Metro West town. This is for Bedford. We were 93 yesterday. Our forecast today is 97. They've already hit 90. So this is day 2. And of course, tomorrow will be day 3. So I didn't want to not talk about a heat wave just because Boston, the Logan Airport didn't make one. There will be several towns, most towns north and west of Boston will actually be hitting their 3rd heat wave of the season. So.
And I think it's important to talk about that even though Logan didn't, I did a story last week about the urban heat island effect, where the researcher that I spoke to, he mentioned a reading on a random July day in 2019. They just used that as the sample. And the official reading at Logan was 92, but then you go to Dorchester and it was 102.
Exactly.
So different neighborhoods can easily, even in the city of Boston, can easily be 10 or 15 degrees difference.
And actually Logan's following up on that story. Our reporter Logan Hall is following up on that story today. He's going out with an expert with an actual thermal camera. So it'll be interesting to watch tonight at 5. Sort of highlighting how just neighborhood to neighborhood you can vary 5 or 10 degrees, depending upon the pavement, what you've got surrounding.
There's a lot of environmental justice story to tell there.
Absolutely.
Where if you have the lack of trees, that tends to be a little bit lesser on the socioeconomic side of things.
Right.
The more affluent areas have the trees, and they're the ones that have the money to pay for the air conditioning. So there's a lot of threads to tell in that story.
Yeah, and we'll certainly be doing more and more of that. Again, Logan following up today, and you've got a lot of great contacts sort of in the community. So we'll continue to tell that story. But if you separate the heat, and now we do have a storm threat tomorrow. Again, like I said before, I feel like it's becoming less and less interesting of a storm day tomorrow.
On Wednesday.
Tomorrow. Yeah, Wednesday, correct.
Exactly.
Yes.
I do think that there is a growing concern if that front stalls out a little bit that we could be talking about more of a rain threat, a flooding threat.
Thursday into Friday. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah.
So here's Wednesday. You see a few pop-up showers through central Mass, where 84 and the Mass Pike kind of meet, and then it kind of fizzles out.
Yep.
Thursday, it kind of reloads a little bit. This is suggesting some morning showers, some storms. Thursday is the day that we break our heat wave chances. But I would say that depending on where you are, it might be a fairly dry day. It's really like Thursday night into Friday that we really most of us start to get in on some of the rain.
Yeah, and I still don't have a great grasp on what exactly is going to go down late Thursday into Friday. The models are indicating that the front that comes through stalls out somewhere near us, and that a wave of low pressure will develop along it. But where that wave forms, where it tracks, this particular model, it has it going a little farther south. So I do think there's going to be a ribbon of rain that could be pretty torrential.
Intense, yeah.
Whether that's right over the Boston metro area or over like far, southeast New England, not quite sure yet.
Yeah. The good news, if we can go to the silver lining, is that we have high pressure building in for the weekend, right in time for the PMC. If you're a rider, you're looking good. Honestly,
Ideal.
I don't know. Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't know you could ask for better conditions. Maybe a degree or two cooler, but otherwise it's going to be perfect. Less humidity, a lot of sunshine. Here's our rainfall forecast. This is suggesting that ribbon of rain, as you mentioned, kind of right through the heart of the Commonwealth. And if you kind of look at the legend there, you're talking 3 to 4 inches widespread through central Mass.
Yeah, I threw this up. This is one model projection. This isn't necessarily our official forecast. If we threw up 4 or 5 models, you would see the same idea, but one of them might be down on the South Coast. One of them might be completely south of New England. There is going to be a ribbon of heavy rain somewhere close by later Thursday into Friday. This, of course, would probably be depending on how you look at it, the worst case scenario.
Most impactful.
If you want the
Worcester
rain,
and Boston,
exactly.
Impacted, yeah.
Yeah, so just to highlight that there is a chance of some sort of torrential flooding rain later Thursday into Friday, and of course the weekend, thankfully, full confidence here. Weekend looks fantastic.
Yes, indeed. Upper 70s, mid to low 80s, a lot of sunshine. The Sox are back in town on Friday. Chance of some morning showers, but I think those will obviously clear by the evening the first pitch.
Lots going on this weekend. You've got the Sox back in town. Obviously, you've got the PMC coming up, which we have a forecast for right here. Again, just about as best as you can. And I believe we had a really good PMC last year as well. With the
I think so, yeah.
So 2 years in a row, really, here for the PMC now.
Do you think you could ride 160 miles?
I have a story. We don't have enough time for my story here. Let's just say that it was Jeepers. About 6-7 years ago, I signed up to do the 50-miler, which was like to Foxborough and back. And I didn't really train because I was like, 50 miles. Like, I'm not doing the full. And I had a a little about halfway through and didn't make the 50 miles.
Is that why the bike jersey's still in the back
listen,
there?
It was hung up. It was retired. Anyways.
Well, you'll have to get back in shape. I want to do this at some point. I really do.
I can see you do.
Every time I see the people, I hear the stories, like it really is so inspiring. I probably would need to train like yourself.
Yes, I would advise it.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
And we shouldn't let you have a great story coming up tonight.
I do,
on WBZ early evening news. I don't want to give anything away, but it's really a great PMC story.
It's a full circle story, we'll say that. So to all the riders out there this weekend, you're in great shape. Have you noticed the days getting a little bit shorter?
I know. I threw this in there just because. So this weekend, I believe August 3rd is Sunday. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is when we hit 8 p.m. We're going back down the other way. So sunset's at 8 o'clock on Sunday, and then that's it. No more 8 p.m. post 8 p.m. sunsets. That's
so we
really
lose 12 minutes over the next 6 days.
This to me is like really, really sad. I feel like it was just like yesterday, you and I were talking about like going the other way and gaining all this daylight. And
I'll say this, that our summers sometimes are so fleetingly short that we really just have to appreciate the light as much as we can, right? Goodness, what a Debbie Downer I was there. All right, so your 7-day forecast features the extreme heat the next couple of days. We'll watch for some Wednesday thunderstorms, really as the sun sets and just beyond. But it's Thursday into Friday that we would watch for that heavy rain potential. We'll watch where that axis of heavy rain sets up, but let's all just understand that someone is going to get it.
Yeah.
It's just we're working out where it's going to be. And then the weekend. You couldn't ask for a nicer weekend. We've had these great stretches of weekends.
Are you going to hit a beach this weekend? What do you think?
I think I am, yeah.
Yeah, good for you. I'm thinking I got to get a golf tee time in really soon here. I'm sure they're booking up.
Yeah, I'm sure they are after seeing that forecast.
Yeah.
We got to do the Larry David, like the weatherman skit. Do you know that one?
No.
Where he calls for a rainy day and no one goes to the golf course.
Oh,
and then
my
he
goodness.
shows up and
we might be in trouble for that one.
Yeah.